This
It's really,
conference will now be recorded. Sorry. There you go.
yes. It's great that you started this online conference so that you're still able to connect with people, also to give them a lot of benefits of wisdom and Ayurveda. So now the question: life after Corona. As you said, there is a doubt if it is after Corona or life with Corona. Uh, we are programmed to fear uncertainty on one hand, and on the other hand, we are designed to overcome the worst kind of uncertainty. So that is how our human brain is evolving. And if you see our history, there are many situations where things were even worse than what we are facing right now. But somehow we overcame that, and we in fact got better with that. Now, usually, such a dramatic situation happens when something is coming for the first time. Such a situation in a technology world where globalization is at its peak, when we are traveling a lot, okay, I think that I want to go to another continent, and within less than 18 hours, I can reach another continent. Few decades ago, it would take almost 6 to 9 months to reach there. And when things are so easy, and suddenly, you're going on a high speed, and suddenly you have to put the handbrake. That is what has happened, and we all are panicking at the highest level. I think the biggest issue about this coronavirus, more than the health issue, is the financial distress and the emotional aspect that it has created. I think so many people got into anxiety, depression. Some people took this as an advantage that they never got such long leaves or vacation. Some people found this is very boring, and they just want to come out no matter what. In some parts of the world, they started rioting. In some parts of the world, they are still fearful at home. However, there is one thing that this situation has taught us: health is completely in our hands, and health is our responsibility. Irrespective of whether somebody is going to find a vaccine for this or not, maybe they will find a vaccine. Maybe by the time the vaccine comes, this virus will fade away. But at the end of the day, one thing that we found out is it is only the weak people who become highly a scapegoat for this situation. But whereas people who are having a normal immunity, the fatality is like less than 0.06 in the whole world. And even we don't know if that number is correct, because the number keeps changing all the time. Because on one day we see that, sorry, on one day we see that the numbers are spiking up, one day we see that numbers are not going up, and we don't know how many people are being tested. There is one thing that we have to understand: this coronavirus is teaching us is how to deal with uncertainty. And if you read many of the spiritual books, or if you read books that talks about emotional fitness, emotional health, if you talk about diseases that are psychosomatic in nature, that is disease that is starting because of some of the wrong ways of dealing with our emotions, it all talks about your emotional health, your spiritual upgradation. All of this depends on your ability to deal with uncertainty. Now, when it comes to uncertainty, this is something that we all fear, like something that is unknown. Unknown things are always creating a lot of unwanted fear inside us. The reason is, it is not that we can't handle that, it is something to do with our ancestral pattern. When we were designed by nature few 100,000 years ago, we constantly looked for safety. Safety was one of our biggest needs. Anything that is breaking our safety net, we immediately panic because we think that our life is at threat. That is how we are designed. And it is not a long time when you look at the evolution of nature. I mean, when you take the evolution of nature, the time when human beings lived is less than a fraction of few seconds. So, in such a time, we have not really adopted how to deal with such massive amounts of uncertainty when everybody is panicking at the whole rate. But after a few years, we will look back and read about this in history like this was some fiction thing that happened, because we would overcome that. But now the question is, how do we transit this period? Like before Corona, during Corona, and after Corona, how will life be after this? Few things that we have to understand is our health is completely in our hands. It is our responsibility, and the same with our emotional fitness. Now, few things that I would like to discuss today, and when it comes to Ayurvedic point of view is, and especially the audience that I'm talking to is from Europe. And one thing that I see, many Europeans love to come to Kerala for Ayurveda. And the reason why they come to Kerala for Ayurveda is when they come and do an Ayurvedic cure, they feel that there is a rejuvenation that is happening. They are able to deal with the problems much better. And the reason why Ayurveda is giving such a great, fantastic result is, it is not that only when they come to Kerala and do this therapy, they are going to get that benefit. There are certain aspects of Ayurvedic treatments and Ayurvedic therapies that we can do at home. And we need to understand some basics. Now, why I was, for me, I love research. I always love to question why this is happening this way. And one of my questions I ask is, why do people change so much when they come for an Ayurvedic treatment? Because I see a lot of patients, and before they come and after, when they leave for their flight, what a transformation they have it in their face, energy, and some of the sadness that they have when they leave is because they have to go back. But some people, they are so excited to go back to the real world because they are having so much of good energy. Now, the reason that I see is when they come to an Ayurvedic resort or a place like where I'm practicing in Sitaram Beach Retreat, one thing is they are cut off from their home, which means somewhere some of the problems, daily problems that they are facing, they are not going to face it. So it is a complete radical shift. And if you listen to many of the neuroscientists or neurologists, one of the biggest contributing factors of human behavior is our environment. The moment you shift from an environment, there is going to be a shift in your uh, behaviors, habits, and how you respond also. This is something that is proved along. Sometimes people come and say, when I'm at home, I have this habit of smoking, or I need cappuccino at least 3 to 4 times a day. But when I come to a place like Sitaram, I don't crave for cappuccino at all. I don't have that need for smoking at all, and I don't know why it is. It's not that you somewhere it is gone. It's just that at home, like the Pavlov's dog theory, suddenly when the dog sees the food and the bell was ringing, suddenly it starts salivating. Every time the food was there, the bell was ringing, suddenly the food is not there, still the bell was ringing, the saliva starts coming. So the dog is programmed, the moment the bell is ringing, the food must be there. Same way, if we subject ourselves to a lot of stressful situations at our home, we always associate our home to be a stressful place. And suddenly when you shift from there and come to a new surrounding, especially when you see a lot of beautiful garden, and if you see a beach and you see sunset, and nobody is giving you any unwanted worries except for the fact that you have to be on time for the treatment, on for the food and for the consultation, and everything else is taken care of, the need to how much things I have to decide, all this is being released. So immediately what happens, people relax. And today, what I see, especially in first world countries, people coming from there, one of the reasons why burnout is happening or chronic fatigue syndrome is happening. Now, some people say burnout is not real, burnout is unwanted, it's not a disease at all. You can burn out only if you're a candle, but that is not true. The reason why we humans burn out is we need to understand how our nervous system functions. In Ayurveda, we attribute a lot of this to the element of Vata dosha. Vata means our energy that is responsible for the information and for the changes and all of that thing. So when it comes to the decisions, every decision that you take, it could be, what dress should I wear, or a decision in your company, should I enter this project or not? It takes a lot of nervous energy. Because if you take the root word of the word decision, to decide means to sever, to cut. And we have this background noise inside us. If I cut off from this, am I going to miss something in my life? So we are constantly worried. If I say no to this, I'm saying yes to something. So if the thing that I'm saying no to, am I going to miss something in my life? So then the background music is, oh my God, I'm going to miss something now. I'm going to miss something now. This background, because our brain wants to have it all. That's how our brain is designed. We don't want to miss anything in life. We want to constantly pursue and explore and experience as many things as possible, because that's the way nature has designed us. But it comes with a problem. When we are told you have to say no to something, we sometimes, there is a research, that's a fantastic, interesting research. When prisoners, then they are going to the judge, to a court, to a judge for asking for a parole. and they were in. This was done in some. I think it was done in Israel. What they were trying to do was they were trying to find out the prisoners who went to the judge in the morning hours, in the earliest hours. More than 80% of them got parole sanctioned, whereas the prisoners who went the last, like in the during the closing hours, less than 10% got managed to get a parole, which means as the days were going, every decision that they were making were costing a lot. So by the time the judges thought, okay, I'm too tired to make the decision, so I would rather put him in jail and not worry about if the society can handle him or if he is going to be safe to the society. So that is why what we can understand from that. And also another thing that I have to tell you is there was a research done on two groups of people. One group of people were asked to watch a game movie where they have to actively invest their thoughts to find out what is the next step. Only if they are actively engaged, they can appreciate that whole short movie that they are watching. Another group was made to watch a simple documentary like about Ferrari, how the sports car is being made. This is something you can watch, relax, like with a popcorn. You don't have to sit on your edge and understand what is going on. You can just watch it naturally. And what they found out was, after both the groups watched that, they were given two options to eat. The two options to eat was, one was a heavy sugar filled cake, another was a bowl of fruit, which was quite healthy. One was unhealthy, one was healthy. And what they figured out, the group that was watching a documentary that was creating a lot of stress, like to watch that, to understand this, they usually took the cake, which was unhealthy, and the group that was watching something easy to relax. Okay, I just need 1 minute because the rain is coming, so I need to go inside. So just give me one short minute, please.
So ist das bei einem Live-Webinar direkt aus Indien. Der Doktor ist gleich wieder bei uns. Für diejenigen, die gerade noch dazugekommen sind, er muss sich kurz einen anderen Platz raussuchen, weil der Monsun derzeit in Indien wirklich schon stark ist. Schauen wir mal, wo er sich jetzt drinnen platziert. Das sind die schönen Anekdoten. Auch für Sie vielleicht nochmal zum Hintergrund. Dr. Vignesh ist jetzt auch tatsächlich in seinem Retreat, also im Sitaram Beach Retreat in Südindien, in Kerala. Und dort findet ja derzeit auch gerade wieder so eine Art Lockdown statt. Das heißt also, er ist mit einem kleinen Team vor Ort und bereitet aber jetzt langsam aber sicher alles auch wieder vor, um möglichst im Herbst wahrscheinlich wieder zu eröffnen. Das heißt also, er versucht da wirklich alles wieder an den Start zu bringen, sozusagen, für weitere Gruppen. An dieser Stelle nochmal, auch falls Sie es eben noch nicht mitbekommen haben, wenn irgendwelche Fragen sind zwischendrin, können Sie gerne auch in den Chat Ihre Fragen stellen. Ich sammle die dann und im Nachgang an den Vortrag von Dr. Vignesh, also ich denke, er wird jetzt noch so circa eine halbe Stunde Vortrag halten. Danach haben wir dann auch die Möglichkeit, ihm noch Fragen zu stellen. Also notieren Sie sich die gerne. There you are. Found a place.
Yes. Sorry,
Wonderful.
the rain was unexpected. I thought it was so.
Only in India. Okay. Good to you.
I hope people are. I just want to check in with people if it's quite difficult to look at myself and talk. If there is someone who can just say hi and everything is going well, it's just a way of getting the feedback and all things are going well. All right. So we were talking about the two groups. That was, one was watching a documentary about something that is difficult, that you need to invest a lot of your emotions and nervous energy to understand and appreciate what is going on. Another group that is watching a simple, easy one. The one that was watching somewhere, they have to constantly invest their attention. They took something unhealthy to eat afterwards. And in one place where they have to constantly, they didn't have to use so much of their nervous energy, they took something healthy to eat. So what we have to understand here is, if you are constantly investing a lot of your energy in deciding things, and if you're constantly getting into stress, then our willpower is completely at stake. Then there is a high possibility we will get into alcohol, too much of sugar, too much of unhealthy stuff, because our willpower is a finite energy. That is what we have to understand from many of the neurologists around the world. And this is where what happens when you go to a retreat, or when you go to a place like an Ayurveda, where you are not having to make a lot of decisions. And everything that happens there is recovery. Recovery is like, just like when you work out, or when you go for a run, or when you do a yoga, afterwards there is a stretching that is followed. After you put some stress on your muscles, soon afterwards you need to do some relaxation. Only that is when the muscle has a benefit. Same way, when you do a yoga therapy, afterwards there is a relaxation. After you warm up, you have to warm down. This is the same with our nervous system. Now, few medical studies that are done on the nervous system is for burnout is, people who are experiencing burnout, they are constantly under stress or fear about something that is uncertain. It could be relationship, it could be something to do with work, it could be something it could be something to do with their childhood traumas or something as well, or it could be financial issues as well. Now, when we talk about the stress, it could be as minimal as getting up in the morning, and if you're searching for something that you want, that is a stress. If you're getting up in the morning and I don't know where I'm going to park something, that is going to be a stressful thing. And if you're getting up in the morning and you're deciding, oh my God, I don't know what I have to cook, that is again stressful thing. And what the research finds out, when people can eliminate as many deciding things the previous day itself, like the previous day, if you can decide what can I wear, that is why you read in some articles that some uh, big CEOs, they wear the same dress every day to the office so that they don't have to waste their energy in deciding what to wear. At first I thought it's not fashion. There's no sense of fashion. But later, when you read that they want to make sure that their energy is used in the right perspective, it actually makes sense. So the previous day, try to utilize your energy in planning as much as possible. And of course, coming from India, teaching Europeans or especially Germans or Swiss how to plan, it's a bit contradicting. But however, what I'm trying to talk about is, when it comes to planning for daily work, it's a different thing. But when it comes to planning certain things in your life, it makes a huge difference. See, our nervous energy is finite, and how to eliminate these unwanted things. Prepare from, what are you going to eat tomorrow, what time you're going to get up. Try to eliminate all the unwanted decisions that are not going to make any difference in your life. See, if you can plan it the previous day itself what you're going to eat. Some research says that one of the biggest deciding factors, I mean, a decision that creates stress in people is when they go to a restaurant what to eat, because a lot of energy is wasted there. And it is, see, we love the fact that we have so much of variety to eat, and variety is spice of life. We hear that more choices means more possibilities of exploring life, but that is not true in certain aspects. The more options you have, the more decision fatigue you have, the possibilities of burnout. And if you have burnout, the way you look at world, the way you respond to the world problems is going to be much less. It's like when you're happy, the way you respond to a problem is different how you respond to the same problem when you're sad or upset or frustrated. But when we are happy, we are able to solve it in a much better way. When we are sad, we might solve it in the worst possible way, or we don't just solve it, we just live in that fear. So that is why we have to bulletproof ourselves. So that is one thing that I learned. When people come to a panchakarma place, when things are taken care and when the recovery is happening, they go back completely. It's like, you charge your battery completely full on. And how to do this at home? The first thing is decide as many things as possible for the previous day itself, including the dress, including the food, including what you're going to eat. If you can invest all your nervous energy the last night before you go to sleep for that, and then just be there, just be like that second group that is watching a Ferrari documentary, like how useful it is. I mean, there is not much of nervous intelligence that you need to invest in that. So that is one thing. And when you look at our nervous system's pattern, we inherited from the animals. So let us learn some of the animals. If you look at the lion, the way the lion works is something that's similar we have to learn when it comes to our nervous system. If you see a lion, how it works, either it is sleeping with the den, resting like there is no world. It is actually, we think that the lion is dead with its herd, and it will be just completely relaxed, like there is nothing else to be worried about, and there will be some other lion to take care of to protect or looking for the food. And after the recovery is done, after it rests, after it comes back, immediately when it sees a prey, it will run with full energy and full throttle and catch the food and then eat it, and then again it goes back to the recovery. Now, the same is with our nervous system. If we are trying to relax and do your work, I mean, relax and do your work in the sense, when we are supposed to go to sleep, at that time, if we are sitting and watching social media or something to do with working, that is definitely going to affect your recovery. Your recovery is not going to be well. When it comes to your nervous energy, your intelligence, your health, it all depends on how good your recovery is. And that is what happens when people come for Ayurveda, because they are not able to. Some people, they come with so much of chronic fatigue syndromes or tiredness. It is because they had never got a chance to recover from their tiredness. And this tiredness is something that is real. This is something that we create in our head. It all happens between our 2 ears, how we respond and how we sit and retell the whole story. So after, when you're going to sleep, avoid as much unwanted distractions as possible. And when you're relaxing, at that time, just relax, nothing else. I'm just going to numb any triggers that is coming to my nervous system. And when you're working, put all your energy there, just remember the analogy of the lion. And when we are working in that way, what happens is we usually get more things done in less time. At the same time, we are recovered. And that is why in Ayurveda, when I give a talk on nutrition, people talk about what is healthy to eat. But in Ayurveda, we say that more than being worried about what to eat, you should be worried about how to improve the quality of your digestion. It's like the same story. Before, a person was told you have to cut a tree, and two people were given, they have to cut two different trees, which is quite the same, and they both were given the same axe. One person started immediately that he started getting the axe to cut. The other person started sharpening the axe, and it will be interesting who cut the tree first. The second person, who was sharpening the axe, started cutting the tree after 6 hours, but he cut it in 1 hour. But the third person was starting, he took 10 hours. So the first person took like 6 to 7 hours, the second person took 10 hours. Even though the same tree, the same axe, but the difference was the sharpness. And that sharpness we are talking about, sharpness of the axe we're talking about, is improving your digestion in your gut. And the improving your digestion in your brain is what we call it as your ability to recover. And in today's world, why Ayurveda is doing so well, why places where people travel all the way to India and recover so well, is the fact that our recovery patterns and recovery habits in our daily life is becoming very low quality or inefficient. Now let us talk about what are the things about recovery. First thing is we talked about, make sure that you eliminate all the unwanted decisions, like what time you get up in the morning. Make it a time, every day I get up at this point of time. And moreover, people who get up before sunrise, but right now it is summer time, so sunrise will be happening by 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So I would recommend anywhere between 5 and 7 o'clock. If you are a late riser, try to get up before 6 o'clock. This is one of the best time to get up. And it is also proven by research, people who get up before 6 o'clock are more mentally fit, efficient, are more happier, and better to deal with stress than people who get up late. So, and also remember, not only just getting up at 6, also going to sleep on time. So this is one aspect that you have to, because sleep is the most powerful recovery ever designed by nature. And that is one thing you can never replace by taking a pill. And that is one thing that you can never replace by going to any Ayurveda or anything, because of course what happens when they come for Ayurveda is the treatments done are so intense that it calms down the whole nervous system and they fall asleep. And some people still have that difficulty, but we deal with that in a different nature. But what happens when you rest and relax and recover, the benefit is just beyond what you can read in a health journal. Because real immunity is your ability to recover your all the tension that is happening in your body, in your digestion, and also in your nervous system. So this aspect of eliminating decisions that is not required, it could start with what time you're getting up, what to eat, what dress to wear, what time you will reach there. And another thing that I recommend, if you have a parking issue, try to solve this issue as much as possible. People waste a lot of their energy in parking. Try to eliminate that as much as possible. And try to make your life as easy as possible to eliminate unwanted decision making, and what you're eating for lunch, what you'll eat for dinner. And one of the most important criteria for good recovery is going to sleep on time. And that means try to sleep not later than 10 o'clock. Try to sleep as if not 10, at least not later than 11 o'clock, because it has been proven people who are going to sleep between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, this is considered to be one of the most powerful period to go into deep sleep. And see, I've spoken in my previous talks, but this is something that I repeat, because going to sleep between 10 and 2, the more deeper you can reach with your sleep, the better your recovery. See, sometimes you can go to sleep at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, still you sleep for 10 hours, you can get up tired. The reason is, after a certain time, our recovery of the nervous system is not efficient like when you go to sleep at between 10 and 2 o'clock. I mean, between 10 and 2 o'clock means if you can go to sleep at 10 and reach as much deep sleep as possible in that time, that will completely enhance. And people who have difficulty, see, if your sleep is not good, there is a limit how much willpower can assist you in living healthy. Because once you sleep good, your ability to say no to unhealthy stuff is better. And if your sleep is disturbed, you will need more Red Bull, coffee, sugar, unwanted healthy stuff, because your energy is low. So you want that extra distraction to lift yourself up. But if you have a fantastic sleep, you feel that I'm already high. I don't need that extra unhealthy stuff to put inside. Only because of that, I'm going to feel good. So recovery starts with fantastic good sleep. So this is one aspect that we have to constantly look at. And when you are working, make sure you prioritize what are the most important things. So in this way, what happens is, always ask, uh, see, there is we all are constantly told to believe that we all have only 24 hours, we only have 8 hours. And if you are not working too much, you are a lazy person. See, there is nothing to do with being lazy or being working hard. In today's world, we all are respected and appreciated not because of how much time we work, but because of how much results we are producing. And the results that we are producing, everything depends on your ability to use your nervous energy. And use your nervous energy wisely and focus on things that will really make the difference. And if you are able to focus on those things, you will still be able to manage to get your work done. At the same time, you have enough time to recover and replenish. Now, when it comes to food, in between your working culture. Now, as we see that now during this Corona period, many people are sitting and working at home. Some people, got into unhealthy lifestyle during this time. Some people got into extremely healthy lifestyle this time. So it all depends on our perspective. But what I would recommend during this period, this is one of the once in a century period where people, some of us, would have a time to sit and work from home. Use this time to learn as much as possible. Learn things that you always thought you wanted, but you didn't have time. Because when we learn, we grow. And it is told that people who are constantly engaged in learning new things, their memory cells are getting better. And there are a few herbs that I recommend to improve your brain functions. One is called as Brahmi. I will just type it there. These are, you can get it in tablet form or in powder form. Brahmi, the best you can get it in tablet form. Brahmi tablet, this is fantastic. This is helps to improve your focus. It helps to improve your nervous function. It's like a nervous tonic according to Ayurveda. And the word Brahmi, in fact, the meaning of the word Brahmi means expanding my true self. And that expanding of my true self comes from your ability to learn new things. So this is one, and the best time to take Brahmi is after breakfast. I'm typing it in the notes, and you can take up to 1 or 2. And I recommend this people who are having difficulty with focus, ability to, where they have to think a lot for their work. I recommend to take them 1 or 2 tablets, irrespective. There is no known side effects for this tablet. This is something you can take, and you can continue it up to 3 months to even 6 months. In India, we use this in a ghee formulation because ghee is considered to be the best to improve your nervous energy. And when you blend this with ghee and take, your energy just enhances. So Brahmi is one of the best tablets that you can take along with that. And the next one is, I recommend this Ashwagandha, and you can take it in tablet form. You can take 1 or 2 after dinner time. If you're having stress issues, if you're having anxiety, any kinds of uncertainty, and if you're having difficulty to fall asleep, try to take ashwagandha. Eliminate taking alcohol, or, I mean, if you're taking it for recreation once in a while, this is fine. But if you're constantly dependent on this to go to sleep, I highly recommend to shift to something that is healthier. And one of the best techniques is, reduce as much bright light as possible. And just like the way we spoke about the Pavlov's dog theory, make sure you are so focused on the day work when you're working, and after that, okay, now I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Sleep is very important for me. And it's like you train yourself. The moment you see the mattress, you feel like going to sleep. And don't use that mattress for anything else apart from sleep. I mean, if you're trying to take your mobile phone or reading on the mattress, this has such really drastic long-term side effects. Because once, see, imagine you are going on a flight. And when you're going on a flight, you have from A to B, you have a destination. But if you go 3 meters away looking somewhere else, and if you fly for, like, let's say for 20 hours, your flight is going to be completely on another side of the planet. The same is with our habits. Certain times when we are not investing in our recovery properly, slowly it will build up, and at times suddenly people will say, I don't know why I got this disease, and I don't know, suddenly I got cancer, and I don't know, suddenly I got this tumor, and I don't know why this is happening. See, our body does not create anything suddenly. It is always a result of things that we were living. But the reason why we call it suddenly was, it's like the frog in a boiling water. When the water is being boiled, at that time the frog felt, okay, this is nothing to worry about. Suddenly the boiling point reaches, and the frog feels, oh my god, now I cannot escape, I cannot jump, and I'm stuck here. And the same is with our body. And that is why when people come for an Ayurveda cure, when they do that intense recovery and when they go back, they feel a sudden shift in their energy, and they feel, wow, I want to feel this energy constantly. Now, one aspect of Ayurvedic treatment that you can do currently is, if you have a possibility to go to a place and get a massage, but I don't know now because of how the situations are with the coronavirus, if you can go and get a massage, at the same time get sauna or steam, or you can do infrared sauna, or just go for a steam where you sweat, because sweating, according to Ayurveda, is one of the best ways to eliminate a lot of inflammation, a lot of water content that is extra stored in your body, and it rejuvenates your skin. And skin is the largest organ in our body. So make it a point to go to sauna. Just don't think I'm going to sauna because it makes me feel. It is something that is going to change your life. Make it a point every week. I visit a sauna or a steam bath. And if you are a woman in your menopause period, and if you're having hot flashes, in such situations, what I recommend is, don't go for this extreme sauna like the Finnish sauna or Russian bunny. Go where it is like very mild, between 50 to 60 degrees, where you sweat a little bit. Because when you sweat a little bit, you are clearing out a lot of your toxins. That is very much like your body is being, recovery is happening. Or in Ayurveda, we call it, we are bringing down the excess sweda or pitta, too much of heat from your body. So this is one therapy that I highly recommend. And when you go for a massage, you are activating your whole lymphatic system, especially if you have this lymphatic drainage massage. Try to go there. And if there are Ayurvedic centers where you can go and have Shirodhara, please go and do that, because Shirodhara completely relaxes your nervous system. Because this point is considered to be a marma point, because marma is a place where the energy is very special. Like suddenly when we are stressed, we keep our hands on our head as if something is blocked there, something has to be protected there. And we call it third eye chakra, or this is where your center of intuition is. When you keep pouring oil there, your whole body relaxes. Some people find it very relaxing, some people not. They could have some other issues, but there are other therapies that they can go, like massage is fantastic. And try to do shirodhara if you can, and this is one of the best therapies for recovery that you can do. Another thing is, always try to spend time in nature. Now this is a great time in Europe, you have the sun coming out. And when it comes to sun, people think that midday sun is great. Midday sun is great for tanning, but this is not necessarily the best for your skin. The best time for your skin when it comes to sun is during the sunrise and sunset. Now, see, we all, before religion existed, the first god that we had was sun god, or some people call it fire, but definitely it came from sun. So the sun is our life giver to our planet, and the more we are connected with our sun, and especially when there are even researchers proving that people who are having thyroid issues, Hashimoto's issues, when they spend time in the morning rising sun and the setting sun, when they sit and face the sun, the energy and the healing therapies that they are getting is so powerful. Sometimes many times they are able to get rid of their thyrox, the tablets that they're taking for the irregular functions of the thyroid. So I mean, we don't need to know that there is a need, if you go and watch the sun something changes, but let us put a conscious effort till the summer is existing. Whenever possible, try to go and watch this rising sun and the setting sun. Usually it happen, okay, in India, in my place, we know the sunrise and sunset is so fixed. It is between 6:15 and 6:45 in the morning, and the same at night. But the times can change. Okay, during the midsummer nights it can change, but as long as you can see the sun in naked eye, where you don't need a sunglass, where the sun is something that is pleasant for the eyes, that sunlight is very powerful for us. But if you need some protection to watch that sunlight, then that is not good. Maybe it is good for the beauty purpose to tan your skin, but I wouldn't recommend that as something that is healthy. So watch the sun that is easy to watch and pleasant to watch for a naked eye. Make it a habit for the sunrise in the morning and sunset in the evening. If you can spend your time there, this will be fantastic. And vitamin C, this is something very important for our immunity. In Ayurveda, we have this herb called as amalaki. It is also a part of Triphala. See if you can take this really, Triphala, it helps to improve your digestion, but I do not recommend taking it for a longer than 3 months. If you're taking it for more than 3 months, take a pause with this. Some people take it as a laxative, some people take it as it is good for antioxidant. It has many fantastic purpose in some people who are having issues with fungal infections or any microbial problems. This is a great an herbal antibiotic. You can take it that way. And because it has amalaki, it is very rich in vitamin C. So taking that will also be helpful to improve your overall immune system. And to understand what is healthy and unhealthy food, always take food as much natural as it is possible. We are not designed to take processed food. We are not designed to eat junk food. We are designed to eat healthy food as much close to nature as possible. And apart from that, there is one thing exercise talks about, because when I see during this corona period, many of the gyms are closed, the yoga studios are closed, but there are so many things you can do at your own home. Maybe things are opening up, we can get back to it, but we definitely, if you get an opportunity to move your body every day, make it a point. This is a must for my day. According to Ayurveda, a moving body is, if you are moving regularly in a very good healthy way, this is one of the best rejuvenator that you can have. That is why when people who exercise, they recover better, their ability to deal with stress is also better, they look much younger. So make it a point to do exercise. It could be yoga, it could be some cardio exercises, it could be some aerobic exercises, it could be qigong, it could be tai chi, and try to make sure you move your body, especially if you have a sitting culture. Sitting is so dangerous today. Many people are having lower back pain, neck pain, because they're constantly on the chair, and especially on top of that, their posture is on the screen. So change that. And that is also why when people travel and then when they spend time in nature, there is a change in their complete environment. That is why people love to travel, because they want to feel that change. And you see, our brain loves few hormones, like we love dopamine, we love serotonin, we love oxytocin, we love norepinephrine. There are many hormones that are released at certain periods. That is why when there is an adventure, when you're doing something interesting, suddenly you have a good hormone that is released that makes you high. And usually people resort to things like alcohol or sugar or drugs, as these help trains the body to release some kind of uh, organs, sorry, the hormones. So these hormones are giving you some feel good factor. The moment that drops, we feel that we need to have it again. But what we need to understand is our body cannot constantly keep producing these good hormones. These hormones are better to release in your body as good as your recovery is good. So when you're working, and take it a point that every few hours or half an hour or something, you get up, move your body, even if you're at home, make it a point to do some stretching. You could do sun salutation, you could do some push-ups, and reduce the brightness of your screen. And as much movement you are able to do, and if you are able to move in such a way that your heart rate goes up and you're sweating a little bit every day, that gives such a fantastic result for your nervous energy. Now, these are some of the physical lifestyle that I highly recommend for all of you. And at the same time, some of the mental techniques that I would highly recommend. In in Ayurveda, we talk about every disease that you look, it has a influence of vata, and everything in the body has something to do with kapha. And when you call vata, it has a lot to do with our anxiety mind, or we call it monkey mind. Now, the reason why we call it monkey mind is, we are on one hand an animal, at the same time, we have the ability to communicate, we are evolved, we can also reach enlightenment. So, man is one animal that can be animalistic at the same time come out of the animalistic behavior. And one of the ways to come out of that is to tame our monkey mind. And that is why some people call it tame the monkey mind. The reason why we call it monkey mind is constantly looking for survival, and we constantly need to look for how can I find the next food, how can I find safety, how can I find some kind of thing that is going to give me some kind of security needs, meet my security needs. So all these aspects are a way to find our safety needs. That is what monkey mind is all about, because we are constantly searching for survival. To come out of monkey mind is what we call it as something that is human or beyond our animalistic behavior. And the most powerful method for that is, even if you take some of the most powerful spiritual books like Bhagavad Gita, the meditation technique that it talks about is just sitting ideal and observing on your breathing in your nose. Make it a point. One of the best techniques that you can do, don't judge if you're going to get a result from it. For the next 30 days, you get up in the morning, the first thing you do is you sit for 20 minutes, maybe on a chair, maybe somewhere, and focus on your breathing. And whenever the mind wanders, the monkey mind will come and say, oh my God, what am I going to have for breakfast? Where will I park my car? What is going to happen to the financial deal that's going to happen? Whatever that is, be a witness to that. And when you are witnessing these thoughts going on, slowly your monkey mind will calm down. And this is something that happens with practice. And it has been proved when people do this technique the first thing in the morning after they get up, just sitting ideal and not just focusing on their breath. And whenever their mind goes out of their control, they bring it back to their breathing. When I say bring it back to their breathing, just bring your attention to your breathing, like your inhalation and your exhalation. Be aware of the sound that is happening in your body, and be aware of the movement of your chest. Be aware of the temperature of the air that is going in and the air that is coming out. Feel your heartbeat. Just being connected completely to your inner self and your breathing. This technique just for 20 minutes, and keep a 20 minutes alarm somewhere nearby, and try to eliminate as many distractions as possible. Even if there is some loud noise that is going on outside, don't worry about it. But the idea is to put your nervous energy into your awareness of your breathing. Now focus this for 20 minutes every day. This is known to have such a huge, tremendous effect on our ability to deal with outside stuff, because when we are in a survival mode constantly, our nervous energy is depleting. But when we are meditating, when we are relaxed, when we are calm, when we are focused in our breathing, what happens is see, remember, our nervous energy is limited. Our ability to make decisions is limited. It is a finite energy. There is not much that we can do a long day. Just remember the example of the judge who is giving parole possibilities for the people in the prison. Whoever came the first, 80% of them got the parole, but whoever came the last during the half day or the end of the day, less than 10 people, 10% got the parole. So this is what we have to understand. So try to conserve your energy in unwanted decision making, eliminate as much as possible, and conserve. And when you work, you work, and when you rest. Don't try to mix social media or watching television with this. Let me tell you, watching a bright screen, people think that okay, watching social media is a relaxation, but it is not. It is actually draining a lot of our energy. And people, so many people, and if you see 4-year-old kids, they're treated for neck pain with addictions because of social media. They're treated for eyes, and we are just grown up kids, we are so glued to that. And try to reduce how much you are focusing on your screen time. And if it is something productive, fantastic. If it is something that is helping you to learn, fantastic. But if it is mindless, try to come out of it as soon as possible. It has a huge effect on your relationship. It has a huge effect on your own relationship with yourself. And it also has a huge effect on your ability to think and your productivity. And all these are a part of your health. It is not that health is something that you get by taking some Ayurvedic tablets or eating healthy. Everything in your day is a part of your health, and health is our biggest priority. Without health, whatever you have is good for nothing. But with health, even if you have nothing, everything you can bring it back. So make health as your priority. And when you make health as your priority, our greatest ability is to say no to things, not for the current moment. It is nobody wants to be healthy for few minutes. We want to be healthy for the rest of the life. See, that is why Ayurveda, the word Ayurveda, Ayu and Veda, Ayu means life and Veda means knowledge. Some people say it is the knowledge of life. But according to me, Ayurveda is living long as young as possible. There is no point in living long if you are not healthy. But only if you are living long, at the same time you are healthy and you are enjoying the beauty of life, that's what counts. And that happens with our daily choices. That is what Ayurveda is. And when the border opens, or even there are so many possibilities, you can go for Ayurveda therapies inside Europe itself. Or it need not be an Ayurveda therapy. You could go for some yoga retreats, you could go for some massage nearby, you could go for some meditations, you could spend time in nature, learn to cook healthy food. And by the way, I forgot one thing: hydrate yourself really well. And see, when your moment you see your brain is not working, the moment you drink water, suddenly your brain starts getting activated. So make sure this is the best time. What coronavirus has given us time to invest in your self-care. And this is what happens when you go for an Ayurveda retreat. Here is, your self-care is at its best because everything is taken care for you, and you come out of it completely rejuvenated. And this is not something that you have to look forward only when you go for. Of course, when you go there, you get it, but this is something you can do it at home by yourself, focusing on what all aspects that I have to be mindful about, things that I have to say no about, things that I have to be careful what is going inside my mouth, and avoid late night dinners. Make sure your nutrition is something that you're extremely mindful. See, when you buy an expensive car, you don't want to run your car on beer. You want to make sure you're putting the right petrol in it. The same is with the food that is going inside. The problem with our gut and our tongue is not the best judge to understand what is best for our stomach. And our stomach does not have any control over our tongue. So we have to use our willpower. If you are constantly investing in a lot of stressful activities, your willpower is low. That is when we indulge in unhealthy habits. So if you eliminate all the unwanted stressful decisions that you have to make, you will have your willpower. And the idea is, see, in Bhagavad Gita it is told what kind of a person will get enlightened or spiritually uplifted. And the reason why I'm talking about the story is this is so applicable to the food that we are eating today. It is told that a person has to behave like a tortoise. And if you see a tortoise, the moment it senses there is an external trigger that is going to be harmful, immediately it puts everything and covers that whole shield. It goes inside that shield. And this is something that is we can understand from a research. It is told that there was a group that was classified into two, and they were trying to figure out, one group is very disciplined and one group is very unhealthy, and they were trying to figure out, is willpower a deciding factor for someone living in a disciplined lifestyle or unhealthy lifestyle? What they found out was both the groups are having the same willpower, but the only difference is people who are disciplined, they avoid exposing themselves to unhealthy environments, unhealthy triggers, whereas people who are living unhealthy, they are not mindful where they are going. So if you are going to a restaurant which has a huge buffet, avoid that. And if you're having issues with eating, avoid restaurants with buffet. Avoid places where you get too much of alcohol. Avoid storing too much of alcohol in your fridge or home, or too much of sugar. Getting rid of this, and instead make it so easy to live healthy and make it very difficult to live unhealthy. So this is the analogy of Bhagavad Gita. Be like a tortoise. When something is trying to trigger you, immediately come back to it and live healthy, because we have to understand, enjoying life is not about indulgence. Of course, when you have a cup of coffee or when you have some good chocolate, it really you can really enjoy it. But the problem is when we constantly depend on that for our enjoyment, then that is a very dangerous habit. And that is why so many people are sick today, because they are not able to say no to things that is coming to them. And the ability to say no is not about their willpower. It is about being conscious of where I am exposing my sense organs and try to limit that. And that way, and that is why when people come for an Ayurveda, your exposure to unhealthy stuff is less. Here in Sitaram, we don't provide buffets. Your food is decided. You have no access to television. After a certain time, Wi-Fi is not available, and you are sleeping, and you don't have access to cigarettes. You don't have access to alcohol. You don't have access to too much of fruit. Too much of sugar, things that are unhealthy. So when you're put in that situation, you have no choice. Anyway, I'm here. Let me try doing that. So be conscious and try to change your environment in such a way that your ability to recover is better. Your ability to live a healthy life is easier. So this is one of the things. And as we go by, we need to understand this coronavirus, the fatality rate is way less. Less than 1% is getting it. And even if less than 1% is getting it, we don't know if it is really because of the virus, even though they say that people who are dying are infected with the virus, and the virus could trigger if they are having any other terminal disease. So this is not something that we need to be worried about. Only thing that we have to worry about how we handle the situation because of the financial things that are going on. Of course, that will create, but what we have to understand is life will go on, things will change. And if you look at history, all the great things happened during such kind of depression, economic recessions, such kind of necessity is the mother of invention. So right now there is so much of necessity that is happening. Now the first necessity is take a good care of your health, because that is your greatest asset. And people ask me, what did you achieve this year? The only thing I achieved this year is my health and my life. Everything else, if you have it, it's a bonus, it's a profit. And always think, focus on gratitude. And when we talk about gratitude, just remember, things can go worse, things can be even worse. And there was one article I read, consider this as a situation that you are taking, because we have to, of course, there are so much of misery happening around the world. So many people are under deep stress. Yes, it is happening even when the coronavirus was not there, but the coronavirus made things more difficult for many things. But we have a choice to choose where we have to look. If you constantly look at, when I ask a patient, I want you to see as many red colors as possible. And if you can see more red color than the previous person, I will give you a gift. And then the person will look for the red color and come up with a number. And I say that the previous person found more red colors. And then the patient will look for even brown color and count it as red. Because there is something called as reticular articulating system. We always look what we want to see. So and today what is happening is every day we are being updated how many number of people are infected. And see, if the same pattern is done for people who are dying because of road rash or accidents, we all would stop driving the cars. But we are doing this because we are worried about this virus. and people who are vulnerable cannot deal with that. And we don't know how to deal with this virus because the virologists are still finding a way to deal with it. And when you speak to virologists, what they say is, I would rather make the mistake of overreaction than not taking an action and later saying that it is a pity that I did not take the right action. So they are constantly worried about protecting a life. A human life is more important than whatever is the other catastrophe that is going on. So that is why such things are happening. But maybe things will change. Some people are saying the second wave will come. Whatever is going to happen, if you keep your health, we will find a way to overcome that. And once things change, once the borders are open, I'm sure a time will come when the flights will resume and the normal life will resume. But definitely we will appreciate more things at that time. So I will take some time for the question and answers. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vignesh. It was, again, very enlightening. So many aspects you mentioned today. That was really a lot. I think in the end, what you mentioned, because there was so much in it today, and you talk a lot about habits. And for example, when you were talking about gratitude, I was just reminded about the fact that when you stay at Sitaram and you do a cure, that the first thing you do is you basically hand out also your gratitude books to your guests, and the idea that every morning you should write down for what you're grateful for. And I just, I took this with, and I do this every morning, and also together with the meditation. I think it's really good if you can really think about, make it a habit, and how to integrate it into your lifestyle to really follow all the things that you just mentioned. It's quite a step, right? It's not so easy to inherit this to your daily routine.
That is so true.
Do you have any?
If there's any question, then we can go into that.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Right now, there's no questions. Maybe if the people attending still, if you would like to switch on your camera, or if you have any questions, do that now and say hello. But I think. But again, Dr. Vignesh, with regards to the habits, do you have a recommendation for a book maybe, or do you have anything that can support? Because as I'm saying, it was really dense what you said today. So there's lots of information in it, and it's great. But I think I don't know, maybe you have a recommendation where you can also dive into this.
One thing that I recommend when it comes to gratitude, see, our brain is designed to look for what's wrong. Mm-hmm. And we have to consciously put an effort to look for what's right. So whenever things go worse, just think that, okay, things could be worse. Mm-hmm. That is one way to look at it. And one method that I read is, every day after you get up and before you go to sleep, write down 3 things that you're grateful, which you are not obviously seeing. When I saying obviously, I mean, it could be, okay, right now it is raining. There was a time we were faced with a drought situation. So I understand how beautiful it is to have rain. And now I think that, okay, it is raining, at least the cycle is back. So it could be a little thing. It could be having, whenever you are having something, just be thankful to it from your heart. That makes a huge difference in the way you connect with your energy and with the way you respond to your worldly life.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's no further questions, thank you so much again for sharing, Dr. Vignesh. I think it's been, I was just checking, I think it's been our fourth session now during this entire lockdown. And where the session again is recorded, and we will upload it to our blog and connect it obviously with your retreat with Sitaram. And yeah, let's see, maybe. Okay, wait a second. Here's one question. Can you read the questions as well, Vignesh, or shall I read them out loud?
If you can read them, it will be better, because I don't see the questions.
Okay. So Dagmar is asking, my husband always has problems with his eye when working in the garden because of ozone. Any idea what to do?
I think depending on the ozone,
Yeah.
it could be, there is a possibility that he would be having dry eye. In such situation, you know, it would be to eliminate food that are producing heat and dryness. And of course, taking triphala. There is one thing that we do here in India is, you know, we make a herbal tea with triphala and filter that and pour it on the ice. This really helps.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vignesh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So any further questions? No, I think that's fine. Okay. So then, yeah, I'd say that's the end for today then. Thank you so much, Dr. Vignesh, for your time and for sharing all your knowledge with us again. It's been really a pleasure. And I don't know, I have the feeling it wasn't the last time that we do these webinars, because it's actually really very, very insightful. So everyone's writing many thanks, and it's been really enlightening. So the feedback is really positive. I don't know if you can read this, but yeah, everyone is really thankful.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So thank you, and for everyone who's joining us. As I said, I will definitely upload the recording, and you can join us also for our further live sessions this weekend. So please, yeah, just follow us, and I wish you all a wonderful weekend further. And if there's questions coming up, or also if you would like to have or if you would like to use the chance to do a personal consultation with Dr. Vignesh, I know that he's also available for this. So you can always contact us on neuewege.com or be in touch on our social media. So I'm really looking forward also if there's any further questions. And otherwise, we keep you informed as soon as it's possible to travel to Sitaram Beach Retreat again. You will hear from us. And yeah, thank you for joining, and have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Goodbye.